readers,
reviewers,
countrymen,
lend us your ears. Welcome back to the Brothers Gwynne channel. Today we're doing a slightly different video, and yeah, my hair looks...
It looks fine. It looks like you've been struck by lightning.
Exactly, yeah. It's a bit blinding, but hopefully you can make do watching
fall
this.
In a vat of milk?
I think I did. But today we're doing the mid-year book freaking out.
Freaking out, yeah, mid-year something.
Yeah, mid-year, well, it'll be in the title, so whilst we can't remember it, hopefully you can see it in front of you. Thank you to Alex Nieves, who nominated us?
Yeah,
nominated us for doing this.
Any other way of putting it?
Yeah, we're not exactly...
Threw the gauntlet down?
Yeah, we're quite amateurs in this book tag
Need
business,
to say that
aren't
again.
we? I mean, this is the first 6-month segment we've had the channel running, isn't it?
Wow.
So there we go. The channel's been running for 5 months now, and it's been a lot of fun.
It has.
And it's crazy. We never thought that we'd have an audience like this ever, yet alone with 5 minutes. 5 months.
5 million of us?
Yeah. 5 months in. So thank you to everyone who watches, and I hope you continue to enjoy the content for the rest of this year. But I think
Fingers, toes, and everything else crossed.
if we give a summary first of, so the first 6 months, I think I've read 49 books, 48 books, 48. And how many have you read?
Loads of Dark Golden Sun. I think 78. I want to say I think.
What was your target? 75.
75
So
for
you
the
recently
year, so
broke
I've
it.
actually hit 78 already, which is, yeah, very happy with that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, my target was 60. I've hit 49 at the moment. I think I had
lacking, but not.
I know.
No,
I think that I was on target when I finished my exams.
Yeah, you've had a
And
busy
now
year.
I think I'm 11 ahead. So I've had a
good,
good last
yeah.
2 months of reading. But now let's get into the questions. So for the mid-year book freakout tag, there's 15 questions, I think, or 13. But anyway, there's questions.
There's a number of questions.
And we answer the questions according to our own tastes of books that we've read in the first 6 months of 2021. And so I'm going to be reading it from my laptop. The first one is the best book
you've read in 2021.
Look at you with your memory. What was your favourite book of 2021 so far?
It was Killer of Men by Christian Cameron. This is awesome. Ancient Greece, all about Aramnestos of Plataea, fighting for the Athenians, and there's the threat of the Persians looming. If you know about the Peloponnesian War and anything like that, you know what happens between Athens and Sparta. But yeah, this is really cool. I love this book. Definitely my favourite of the year so far.
And my favourite book of 2021 so far is The Blade itself. We put a video up a few days ago, which is today when we're recording, but 2 days ago if you're watching this video on the day it comes out. Wow, I feel like I'm in
Inception.
In something made by Christopher Nolan. Could be anything. But I had Fires of Vengeance as my favourite read, but now I have finished The Blade itself, and it has claimed that top spot. I love them both, but The Blade itself, maybe a bit of recency bias, but I absolutely adored it, and I'm loving the sequel, Before They're Hanged, even more.
Good.
Boom. And now, the next one, the best sequel you've read in 2021.
Now, I take sequel as just book 2. I don't know if that's just me being weird.
I feel like it could be any, like...
It should be, technically, but I
other
guess...
than the first one.
You can interrupt me anymore, Will. But, I just feel like it was book 2. So I've chosen a book 2, and it is Golden Sun by Pierce Brown. Wonderful, wonderful trilogy of the Red Rising saga. And Golden Sun is fantastic. It's book 2, as I said. Follows the story of Darrow as he goes from red to gold to, killer of everyone. Yeah.
And
a lot of people die in this. The ending is amazing, and I just love it.
And I probably would have chosen Golden Sun if I hadn't have read The Fires of Vengeance, which I adore. It was top of my list, recently clinched by Blade itself, but still I absolutely love The Fires of Vengeance by Evan Winter. This is the sequel to The Rage of Dragons, so this is the second instalment in the Burning.
It's a good book
by Evan Winter, and we follow Tao on his quest for vengeance, and that is still the main vein running through this story. But I think that in some ways Tao matures and he realizes that he must make compromises, and he's also growing attached to people, which is a bit of a change.
You said attached.
A tash. No, he's more than
It's time
me.
for the moustache.
And that is when
Now,
he
would
strikes.
your moustache be brown or would it be blonde? Or should I say blue?
Or green.
Maybe.
Or any other colour that has somehow found its way into my head.
Your skull.
My scalp.
And the next question is a new release that we have not read yet, but we want to. So that's easy for me. It's definitely She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker-Chan. Sounds awesome. I think it's a retelling of pretty much Mulan, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is set in ancient China. So it sounds pretty awesome. Definitely.
And it's been hyped up to be one of the biggest releases of the year.
Yeah, well, it's only about 500 pages, but...
Not this again. Why? And my pick is going to be... I should have had this ready. The Black Tongue Thief by Christopher Buehlman. I hope I'm pronouncing the surname correctly. And I'm probably going to listen to this on Audible because it's narrated by the author himself.
Mm-hmm. It's really good.
And you said that he's a great narrator.
Yeah, excellent.
But
Like
Black Tongue
Irish
Thief,
accents.
yeah.
Hey,
That's for me.
Hey, Sherwan. Hey, Sherwan.
Or just maybe you should narrate it as well.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't
Maybe.
know if it'd be very good at it all.
Now Ed has to talk like that for the rest of the video. But
You
anyway,
want to talk like that for the whole rest of your video.
the third question is my answer is the Black Tongue Thief.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And the next
I'll
one.
let you do this one.
So the most anticipated release for the second half of the year. So I'll go first for this one, and I'm going to follow you out. I'm going to say She Who Became the Sun because it comes out in July, which is the second half of the year, and I've not read it yet. So She Who Became the Sun, as we just said, everyone is saying so many amazing things about it. It's been hyped up to be one of the best releases of the year. Not the biggest. Ed will hunt me down for that. But yeah, I'm just really looking forward to it. It sounds like an awesome concept that by the description I've had by reviewers that I trust, it sounds like Shelley Parker-Chan explores these ideas perfectly.
Very nice. And I'm going to choose The Wisdom of Crowds by Joe Abercrombie and Empire of the Vampire by Jay Kristoff. Now, firstly, I've not delved or dived into the Age of Madness series yet by Joe Abercrombie, but I know it's going to be amazing. I've been waiting for book 3 to be out before I binge them. I've bought the first 2 books because you should always support the author as the books come out as well. Don't wait till all of them are out there and then buy them. Get them as they come out. So, you know, the author has better sales, of course, and also their publishers. Publishers always want to know about pre-orders. That's kind of what anticipates what they will do next, the budget they put into it, whether they release another one, all that kind of stuff. So pre-ordering is good, it's nice, it makes everyone happy, so do it. So I pre-ordered that as well, so I'm really looking forward to that. I think I'll probably get the Goldsboro version of Wisdom of Crowds, which would be cool. I presume they'll do a nice sprayed edge as they have
I
with
wonder
the
what
others.
colour they'll go for this
Probably,
time. The Little
I think it's
Hatred
green.
is it green?
Little Hatred is
red.
blue. Sorry, Little Hatred is red, Trouble with Peace is blue, and I think the Wisdom of Crowds looks kind of green in the UK anyway, and in the US it looks yellow, but yeah. And Empire of the Vampire, I've not read any Jay Kristoff before, but Dad read it and he said it was basically Blade goes to Hogwarts. And I love Blade and I love Hogwarts, so that's that
There
for
you
me.
go.
Exactly.
You can't really go wrong there, can you?
Not at all.
And now the next one, biggest disappointment. So
Oh,
this
it's
is
a hard
one. Yeah.
Now I'm gonna have to say probably Sword in the Storm is my biggest disappointment because it's only got one bear in. You know, come on, I know it's got a lovely bear on the front cover. It needs more bears. That's the only reason I could think of a disappointment. That's the only book really that I can think of.
Yeah, and I've got for me Artifact Space and Red Rising
you're
because
disappointed in them.
I'm very disappointed. Do you know why?
Why?
Because I can't go to space like I want to do after I've read these.
Do you know what? That actually is disappointing.
It is.
Because they're
You can never live
they're
up to
both
this.
so good and they make you actually want
Yeah.
to visit space, which is like, it's like imagine reading, I don't know, I was thinking of a book that's set on the sea and it said Titanic. That's not
50
good.
Leagues Under the Sea.
Yeah, imagine reading 50 Leagues Under the Sea and then, you know, wanting to go into the sea. But we can't go into space. We're not Elon Musk.
No.
Who's the bloke who just flew to space or flew near space? Was it
I don't know.
Branston?
I don't
Richard
know.
Branston? Someone like that.
Someone.
Someone with too much money.
Maybe. But yeah,
yeah.
to be serious though, we don't really like saying negative things about books.
Yeah,
Obviously,
only about
we're-
each other.
We're,
So.
yeah, of course. We're completely
Your hair
honest.
is just...
Your height. No. We're completely honest about the books that we talk about, but we don't like to highlight the ones that we don't really like. We just won't talk about them as much. So we're disappointed in these for being basically too good. And the next question we have on this book tag is our favourite new author. So mine is, let me reach down, Peter McLean. Wait, so I'm trying to think, if you can hold, I'm trying to think of the way that the camera shows it in the opposite way. So these, sorry to demand so much of you, but I read these 3 first instalments of War for the Rose Throne all this year,
People are gonna get
pretty
sick.
recently. And we actually had an interview of Peter McLean, which you're very protective, aren't you? And we really enjoyed talking to him about War for the Rose Throne, and these are really
he's
fantastic
a great guy.
books.
It's good fun.
It's Peaky Blinders in a medieval setting, so you
I
can't
knew
really
you'd
go
say
wrong.
that, but I was just waiting for how long it would take you to
I
say it.
was building the suspense.
Yeah.
And so there we go. Peter McLean's my favourite new author.
My favourite new author had to be a toss-up between 2, and I would have to say Matthew Harvey for his awesome Dark Ages retellings of Viking Age and that kind of stuff, historical fiction, and also Adrian Goldsworthy, the author of the Vindolanda trilogy and The Fort, and I've been loving his books this year. I read a little bit of Matthew Harvey last year, but I gave it a serious attempt this year because last year, for some reason, I read book 8 of the series without reading any of the others, or some book 7 or something like that. So yeah, as you do. So I'm thinking this is actually my serious attempt. I've now read 3 of his books, and they're all awesome, which is great. And Adrian Goldsworthy, fantastic Roman age historical fiction writer. He's a historian, so he's done non-fiction as well, so I'm looking forward to getting to that as well. And the next one is the biggest surprise. So what is the biggest surprise, William? Let's go to you.
So mine was The Counselor by E.J. Beaton. This was fantastic. Spoiler alert. That's why it's a surprise. I thought that I'd enjoy this, but it was very different than what we normally read. We're sent it kindly by E.J. Beaton's agent, Julie Crisp, who also represents Papa Gwynne.
Papa Gwynne.
Papa Gwynne.
Papa Guinea.
We love Papa Gwynne.
Papa New Guinea.
But this is described as Machiavellian political fantasy, and that fits this perfectly.
Yeah.
But when I dived into it and delved, I thought, okay, I'll enjoy it, but I doubt I'll love it. It's very different from what I usually read. And then I only went and loved it. So, how rude.
Why I want to punch you on the nose.
Someone being very loud out there. Yeah. But The Counselor is really fantastic. Debut.
Yes, it is.
I'm being it's really hot, and
Yeah.
I think that
It's getting to you.
and
Have
the
some
hair,
milk. Have some milk.
the
mate.
hair.
Right, pass me the book. And also, I would choose this as my biggest surprise as well. But because William chose it, I thought it's fair to get another author on there as well. I would say Black Sun
More
by
books, the better.
Rebecca Roanhorse. Now, this. I loved the setting of this. That's what was surprising about this. How easy to read and how enjoyable the fresh fantasy setting this was. Now it's basically pre-Columbus Americas. Okay. And yeah, I think it's fantastic. I really loved the historical feel with it, but also the fantastical edge that Rebecca Roanhorse gave it. I'm really looking forward to book 2. Which is very exciting. I did see the cover for book 2, and to be fair, it doesn't look quite as nice as book 1, but I'm certain the words within the pages inside the covers will be just as wonderful.
And the next question is newest fictional crush. Ed, who is your newest fictional crush?
I'm reading The Heroes at the moment, and if she's good enough for Gorst, she's good enough for me. It's got to be Finri, and that rhymed. Come on, I'm a poet and I really didn't know it, but I do know it now because I have a strange brow. I don't know.
There we go.
That's awful.
You do.
But, hang on a minute. But yeah, Finri's great. She's so funny. She's got a good sense of humour, and also she's a really well-written female character, I think, by Abercrombie. And again, she makes Gorst want to kill himself and kill everyone else just for her at the same time. So, you know, if she can instill that passion inside the squeaky-voiced man, then it'll do the job for me.
And I'm also going with Lord Grimdark, Joe Abercrombie.
He's your biggest crush of the year.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah, of course. Naturally. No,
he goes to the gym, Joe. I think he goes to the gym.
Oh, really? How do you know that, Ed?
Well, he obviously He had
you know
a
what?
video.
I won't embarrass
No, he
you.
had
I
a,
won't
no, no. There was a
embarrass you.
video of him looking at
Ed,
it, showing.
okay.
No, he
We
was
don't-
showing off his bookshelves, and someone commented on the YouTube video, "Lord Grimdark works out," and everyone liked it, so it must have been true. Cheers to that. I'll drink to that. I'll drink to anything.
But okay, I'll detract from your situation, and I will pick. You know what? There is a scene where he describes his own jaw, and he says that no one has had a jaw this beautiful ever.
Yeah, it's like carved
From stone. He's like,
yeah.
the heroes who we have painted outside, they wish they had a jaw like
And
this.
what's his name, Will?
Jezel.
He's your biggest.
I'm kidding. Obviously, he's meant to be a very devilishly handsome man, but he's the most pompous and
Who would you think
arrogant.
more's handsome after plastic surgery, of course? Darrow or Jezel? So I've seen some special editions covers of Red Rising, and Darrow looks like a handsome man.
Do you know, I think
But so does Jezel.
I think Darrow would be too perfect.
Yeah,
because
doesn't Jezel have the Kirk Douglas thing going on?
chin?
Yeah, that's it. The chin. Yeah, he's got a chin.
He has the.
What do you look for in a guy? Oh, he's got a chin.
He's got a chin.
But he's a handsome.
People
bloke.
don't have chins like Kirk Douglas anymore.
No, unfortunately.
Now, what is our next question then?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The next one is.
We're very prepared.
The next one is the newest favourite character. So who's your newest character that goes into your favourites?
I have to go with Abercrombie again. He is my favourite partner. Glocta.
Glocta is your favourite out of them. Do you reckon?
Yes, definitely. Sure? You know, I'm reading.
Not Pharaoh.
I'm reading Before They're Hanged, and at the moment Logan is creeping up there. But Glocta is just onward in the blade itself.
So
Onward.
good.
It's just beyond the funniest thing I've ever read. It's so bad. He puts pincers around someone's finger and he says, "Why do I do this?" and then he goes pop. And the next one, he's like,
Oh, when
really...
he does the guy's nipples as well.
That's
the worst.
Before They're Hanged. That's
Awful.
see, you're cringing, but it's just the dialogue. It's the dark humour and the satirical
Click,
language.
Tap, pain. Click, tap.
But it's just terrible. It's really
So
bad.
good.
But it's so funny. And Glocta, I think also his actual motivations and psychology are actually really amazing. A very unique character where he's basically like Jezel, who, if you've read the first law, is arrogant and pompous and just thinks everyone should bow before him. But then he's been taken prisoner and tortured for a few
So
years.
self-aware,
And
isn't he?
yes,
Yeah.
and now he's disfigured and everyone kind of repels him. And he's a better man for it, but very bitter.
Oh yeah.
Very bitter.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Glocta goes down as my favourite character of the year so far.
He's been sucking on some lemons, hasn't he? Sounds weird. So my favourite character has got to be Aram Nestos from Killer of Men. Aram Nestos was a historical character, and he starts off growing up in a small village in Plataea, which is in Greece, near Thebes. Is it Thebes or Thebe? I'm not too sure.
I think Thebes.
I would say Thebes.
We're probably both wrong. But
Yeah, absolutely.
that's how I've heard it pronounced.
And he's the son of a blacksmith, and basically Killer of Men tells the story of Aram Nestos telling the story of his life to his daughter, I believe. And it's just amazing. He's such a good character. He's basically Uhtred, but in my opinion, there's a bit more depth to him. And I love the commentary that you get as Aram Nestos is older. He's talking about his mistakes, talking about, you know, what he was like as a young man, and you just feel every ounce of human characterization there, and he's just fantastic. So I definitely like him to be a good mate of mine.
And the next question that we have is a book that made you cry. So Ed, what has moved you? What has engaged
I've
you?
actually got
Teared up?
two here, and number one is Hawkwood's Sword
Surprise,
by
surprise.
Christian Cameron. This was my most anticipated release of the year, and oh my god, it was amazing, and it had this really truly heartbreaking section throughout that I just thought was coming up, and even though I predicted it, it didn't make it hurt less. It made it hurt more, actually, because I was just dreading, and then it just hit me, and it was it was so sad, and it was just, yeah, so sad, really. So it made me weep. I'm not ashamed to say it. And another one that made me weep, I didn't predict this happening in this, but some guy died, and it was really heartbreaking. And Lonesome Dove was amazing. It's like 1,000 pages, and it really is a tragedy. Yeah.
And he's still not recovered.
I cried a lot.
And the book that made me cry is Of Mice and Men.
Yeah.
Enough said.
Yeah.
Enough said.
Unfortunately, that was spoiled for me because I went to read it in secondary school, as a secondary school text in our English lesson. Opened the first page, and on there, someone had graffitied in it, and they'd written what happens on the last page. Someone.
That's pretty gutting.
Someone. I'll leave it there.
Real bad.
Real bad.
Really, it's a really sad story and very well written. The two main characters, George and Lenny, so well written. Good. And now the next one is a bit of the opposite.
Yeah.
The antithesis of this
what
former
book
question.
Made you
happy?
Oh, happy. Cry out. Happy.
Wait, sorry. Books are meant to be happy?
Yeah. We were actually talking, weren't we? We were thinking, how is that a question? Because we don't read any happy books. There's no such thing.
There's always conflict.
It's like Cormac McCarthy said, he is only interested in books where people are dying or there is a threat of death. Otherwise, what's the point reading? So, fair enough, Cormac. For me, this makes me happy. Tom Swan, Siege of Belgrade. It's a collection of novellas, 6 novellas, yep. All about Tom Swan, who is basically a medieval version of Indiana Jones, growing up in Europe, and he goes around, he's becoming a knight, he's becoming a man of good politicking, and he's quite daring, he's a bit of a daredevil, and he's good fun. Yeah, they always make me happy. The cast are great. They're basically episodes of TV, that's how I imagine them as well. And a little bit like, imagine the cast of Merlin all hanging out, really. So yeah, that's mine.
And mine is Kings of the Wild. This is a book that nearly brought me to tears. Not quite, but it really emotionally engages you.
Oh yeah, it made me cry. That's it.
It did.
Yeah,
it did.
This one as well.
Did it make you cry in like the first chapter?
Yeah, second I think.
That is impressive.
Second, mate.
Sorry.
13th page.
So wrong. But Kings of the Wild is also very light-hearted. There's serious undertones, and Nicholas Ames perfectly explores that dichotomy that we have in life. That we have that laughter. We have the laughter, but also we all have our conflicts going on at the same time. And I think that this is a book that it makes you laugh out loud, as the Blade itself does. But with this, I don't feel guilty laughing, so that's why I picked it over the Blade itself.
Yeah, fair enough. That's a good shout, actually. The next question is best looking books that we bought ourselves. What's our favourite editions?
So we both, Joseph, if you want to grab your one, Ed.
Yeah, I'll grab one.
Papa Gwynne's Shadow of the Gods.
This is still wrapped by the broken binding. This is the Goldsboro edition, and this is the broken binding wrapping. I thought I've got quite a few copies of it now, so it'd actually be quite cool to leave it in this. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
And because it's Papa Gwynne, we thought let's fit another author in there as well. So Ed, do you want to show yours first?
This is my folio edition of The Road.
Oh, one of the best books of all time.
Yeah, it's one of the goats. So this is wonderful. It's illustrated. Oh, just red.
It somehow just
so
really
red.
Suits the story as well.
Yeah, it does. But let me find a picture.
Grim,
William's talking.
Brutal, dire, bleak, gothic.
And that's just the cover. There you go. It says a nice picture. Yeah, the illustration. I think it's about 7 illustrations, and they are all amazing. There's this imagery of red running throughout, just like the cover. There's something is red on each page, and sometimes there's a lot of it, sometimes it's just a highlight, and yeah, they're amazing. So go check out the Folio Society, guys. Yeah, they're amazing.
And I have this new edition of the Silmarillion. I have quite a few editions of the Lord of the Rings and the Silmarillion, Unfinished Tales, The Hobbit,
6,
and all that sort of stuff. But this is one that I bought this year, and I
you never
love
have too many Lord of the Rings.
So true. And I love this so much. Just look how beautiful it is.
Okay, so obviously we've all seen Lord of the Rings. How Gollum is with the ring. This is how William is with his version of the Silmarillion.
Ed.
I was waiting for him to notice.
But yeah, this is really amazing. There's a lot of
Tom Bombadil on the back.
Fan-dabby-dozy.
If they did have Tom Bombadil in, I would not read it. Does it have Tom Bombadil in?
No, not in the Silmarillion.
Good.
I think there's a mention of him, but he stays kind of hidden.
I'm skipping that page. Kind of hidden or hidden.
No, because Tom Bombadil, I think he gets a lot of hate, especially from you.
All he does is sing all the time.
Unwarranted, because...
Was he Gaston?
Well, does he save Sam and Frodo and Merry and
He could have. He could have taken the ring away. Will.
Could he though?
Yes.
But okay, that is a conversation for another time.
Debate.
Maybe when you've read the Silmarillion.
Oh,
absolute
but he's not in it.
Heathen.
But he's not in it. So
No, but it gives
bet-
context. It gives context that you might
yeah.
actually
Will,
understand
no.
what life he has
Wished.
lived.
No. No.
Before we fall out, our next question, which is, so what books do we want to read by the end of the year? So should we alternate, because we've picked quite a few?
Yeah,
each.
we picked quite a few, either kind of groups of books or individual books. So I've picked The Age of Madness. I'm going to read that trilogy this year.
And I'm going to read every single Joe Abercrombie book that I've not already read. So I've read the Shattered Sea trilogy, his YA trilogy, and I've read The Blade itself. So I need to go through the remaining two in the First Lord trilogy,
Yeah.
then his standalones, and his short story collection, Sharp Ends,
Yeah.
and then The Age of Madness.
Oh, you're going to love it.
Mhm.
You're going to have the best year ever.
What a binge.
I'm also going to be reading Dreaming the Eagle by Manda Scott, which is a historical fiction series about Boudica. So I do have it in Audible, but I thought it's split between several people, even though it is Philip Stevens and Jeremy
such
Flynn, or Jerome Flynn, Jeremy Flynn, isn't it? And they're excellent narrators. I just thought, I read the prologue and I thought it was something I just need to read, and I'll listen to it again in the future, but this is something I'll read to start with. So yeah, Boudica, Dreaming the Eagle, my first one.
And I have this nice edition of Dracula by Bram Stoker. I think
Dracula.
the cover gives... Can you say that again?
Dracula.
There we go. I just need Ed to say that whenever I open the pages.
I like to drink blood. Dracula. Dracula.
But yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading this.
Yeah, 5 hours later. Dracula. I will then be reading Gates of Fire by
Ooh.
Stephen Pressfield. I was
A
recently
Greek
talking
epic.
to Christian Cameron about what to read after I finish his Long War series, which I've only read book 1, so it's a long way away. But he said this is well worth.
But not so long the way
try.
you binged through Christian Cameron books.
The way I
About 2
binge.
weeks.
The way I binge.
And I have Bring Up the Bodies, and I'll add Mirror in the Light, I think the third
Mirror
installment.
in the bathroom.
Mirror in the bathroom. Bring Up the Bodies is the sequel to Wolffall by Hilary Mantel.
Mhm.
This also won the Booker Prize, and it is the second instalment
She's
of
just
the
greedy,
Wolffall.
isn't she?
I think it's called the
Too right.
Wolffall trilogy, and it's about Thomas Cromwell.
Is it not called the Thomas Cromwell trilogy?
I don't.
Or the
think-
Divorced, Beheaded, Died trilogy?
Well,
What's it
I
say?
don't think it actually has all 6, because it's about Thomas Cromwell, not about Henry VIII.
Oh, true.
And his life, well, you find
Ended.
out, ended.
Yes. And the next one on my list will be finishing the Fitz First trilogy by Robin Hobb, which is, I
The
believe...
Farseer trilogy.
That's one. Fitz First one. The Assassin's Quest and Royal Assassin.
Mhm.
Is it the other way around?
Other
Is
way
it
round.
Oh, is you
Royal
sure?
Assassin second.
Royal Assassin and then Assassin's Quest, which I'm really looking forward to. I love book 1. So yeah.
And, well, you've redeemed yourself by having Robin Hobb, so I forgive you. And I have A Fool's Hope by Mike Shackle. Really looking forward to doing a buddy read with Philip Magnus soon for the second instalment of the Long War or Lost War trilogy.
Something or other. And the last one for me will be Dorothy Dunnett's King Hereafter, which is basically a historical fiction about the real Macbeth.
And I'm going to have The Silence of the Gales by Pat Barker as well, which is a retelling of Troy. And the sequel is being released next month, so that's called The Women of Troy as well.
Oh, cool.
So it'd be really interesting to read them too.
Absolutely.
I think Briseis is one of the main perspectives, and I think she's a witch. So it'd be quite interesting
A
to
bit harsh of
read
you
it
to
from
say,
that
isn't it?
perspective.
Shouldn't be calling people that, should you? It's not,
It's not
very,
an
it's not
insult.
very kind.
It's a compliment.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, think, in Hogwarts they called wizards and witches. The witches are nice.
Yeah, say it to the ones in Slytherin.
Bellatrix Lestrange.
Oh, she's a mean little pumpkin.
She's
isn't
mean. And so there we go. They are all of the questions. This is the Fancy Freaking Out book tag.
Freaking.
Thank you again to Alex Nieves who nominated us for this. It's been really interesting to go through basically a summary of what we've read in the first half of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Together we've read 36 books.
How many?
136 books.
I thought you said 36. I was
Yeah,
like, what?
we read those.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we read
136 books.
A
Which
big handful,
which
is pretty cool.
indeed we have. And hopefully we can more than double that in the second half. You're going to have summer holiday in a week. I'm already on summer holiday. So,
We're all reading on a
Summer holidays.
And on that note, everyone, stay safe.
The Brothers Gwynne.
Wear your masks.
Truth and courage.
Truth and courage.